بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد. So tonight inshallah we're going to discuss a few ayat of Balaaghah, of the eloquence of the Quran of Surah Muminun. So what we want to do, what we want to go through in a few lectures is Surah Muminun has a few ayat in the beginning that resemble a lot with Surah Al-Ma'arij. The ayat are almost similar. But the one section, Surah Mu'minun for example, may have a verse that's not in Ma'arij. And they may have similar verses. Then there's a verse that has the same for all the words except one word. So we want to discuss why is that so, a few reasons why or why not does that ayah, that word fit perfectly, and why it does actually. And on that side, it would not fit that word from Surah Mu'minun in Ma'arij, but Ma'arij's word fits perfectly. So we want to go through all of those things, inshaAllah, with those handful of ayat that we're going to choose. So first of all, Allah Azza wa Jal begins, in fact, before we start with that, let's mention one Arabic principle that's going to recur with us throughout, especially in Surah Mu'minun. So you have a verb and you have a noun. You have a verb and you have a noun. We're going to give examples of the verbs, or we'll mention what's a verb as we go along. But a verb in Arabic, it denotes something that is not continuous. It happens, then it stops, then it will happen again. Right? If you say, I am eating, it doesn't mean I'm eating through my whole life. I'll eat, then stop, then I may eat again, may not eat again. That's a verb. A noun it's something that is fixed in a person. If you say this person is generous, that means it's a quality that is found in this person all the time. He may not be giving right now, but he is a generous person when he gives. The verb, he's giving charity, he's charitable, he's giving charity now. He'll stop just now and carry on, and he'll give again. So verb happens and it's not constant. Noun is something fixed or always found. So that's important to know when we take these verses, because that's something going to be found in every verse of Surah Mu'minun, and we'll hear the reason why. So first, Allah Azza wa Jal begins by saying, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. The believers have attained success. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Let's go with that translation to start. Our first question, or our first point, that's how the verse starts in Surah Mu'minun. There's a science that the scholars speak about, and that is the sequence of the Quran. Is it just there for no reason? Was it random? Once we conclude it was there, it was not random. It was from the prophetic instruction of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam that each chapter be put in this manner. Now, what's the secret? Why this surah after that one, and this one before that one? If we look at Surah Mu'minun, this is amazing. Before it is Surah Al-Anbiya. The end of Surah Al-Anbiya, it says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا ارْكَعُوا وَاسْجُدُوا وَاعْبُدُوا رَبَّكُمْ وَافْعَلُوا الْخَيْرَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ. And in the end of the verse, فَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِاللَّهِ. Allah says, O you who believe, perform ruku' sajda, meaning salah, ruku', and perform good deeds so that you may attain success. So that you may attain success. So this verse began by saying, O you who believe. That's a verb. That's a verb. That means they're still gaining iman. They're still strengthening iman. And in the next surah, Allah says, mu'minun, the noun. That means iman is now established in them. The previous, Surah Al-Anbiya, Allah said, do those actions, لَعَلَّكُمْ تُفْلِحُونَ, so you may achieve success. Here Allah is saying, success has been achieved. So it didn't just happen. And then Allah says, O you who believe, perform ruku' sajda, and do good deeds. And that's the third last verse, or second last. Then the last one is, فَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Perform salah and give zakah. In the next surah, these are people who, they perform salah and they give zakah, as the next verses will come. So that's the connection between the two. That's the connection between the two. O you who believe, do these things to attain success. The next one, O believers, you've done these things, you have definitely achieved success. So that's the connection between between the Surah Al-Anbiya and Surah Muminun. So Allah says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Undoubtedly, the believers have attained success. They've attained success. So Allah says, مُؤْمِنُونَ قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ. The believers have attained success. So the surah begins by saying, مُؤْمِنُونَ, the believers. The believers have attained success. Success is because of them bringing Iman. Listen to the end of the verse. The last verse in the surah, إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Allah says, the disbelievers are not successful. So the beginning starts, successful are the believers. The end, it ends off precisely by saying, إِنَّهُ لَا يُفْلِحُ الْكَافِرُونَ. The disbelievers are not successful. So that's the connection of the beginning of the surah and the end of the surah. That's amazing. Then Allah says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who, let's translate it loosely first. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those people who in their salah, they have khushu'. They have khushu'. So khushu' would mean that in salah, they have a presence of heart. Their heart is present. They are conscious and cognizant of Allah and that they are in front of Allah. That's one, it's in the heart. Number two, it links to the eyes. A person, part of khushu' is that he doesn't look around. He looks, his eyesight doesn't go around. It's in one place. It is one place. Number three, his body parts. He doesn't constantly move his body parts because he's in a state of khushu', consciousness to Allah, humility. So his hands, and he's not scratching, and he's not itching, and he's not doing these things in his salah. His hands are placed where they should be, So that's with khushu'. Now, Allah says, those of them in their salah who have khushu'. So the first quality Allah starts with is salah, but specifically khushu' in salah. And khushu', we said, it has to do mainly with the heart. So that's our connection again. The end of the last surah, Allah is speaking about bodily actions. Perform ruku', perform sujood. Now Allah speaks of the heart, which is the ruh salah. The heart, the soul of the salah is khushu'. So that's the connection why we start off with khushu'. Another thing, Allah speaks of them as being khashi'un. Khashi'un. Those people who have khushu', it's a noun. It's a noun. It's not a verb. So that means these people have reached the level where their salah is a different level. They are constantly aware of their presence in salah. They are constantly aware of their presence in salah. Their mind's not going off elsewhere because they are in salah. So it's a constant action of theirs, khushu' in salah. Allah didn't say yakhsha'un, they have the verb of khushu'. It's the noun of khushu'. Then Allah says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. I may have translated it almost according to the words. Those who, a normal sentence, those who have khushu' in their salah. That's a normal sentence. Those who have khushu' in their salah. The literal sentence, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Those who in their salah have khushu'. Those who in their salah have khushu'. So this sentence is as if it's in reverse. It's as if it's in reverse. There's a benefit of that. There's a reason why the sentence is in reverse. It's to show the importance of salah above khushu'. It's to show the importance of salah above khushu'. Because we spoke of the importance of khushu', but the structure of this verse is telling us that yes, khushu' is extremely important, but more important is performing salah. Because salah without khushu' is better than khushu' without salah. Khushu' without salah. Khushu' without salah happens. Allah speaks about it in the Quran, different examples. وَخَشَعَتِ الْأَصْوَاتُ لِلرَّحْمَنِ. On the day of Qiyamah, all the voices will have khushu' when they are coming in front of Ar-Rahman. Allah says, أَلَمْ يَأْنِ لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَن تَخْشَعَ قُلُوبُهُمْ لِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. That has not the time come for the believers that their heart submits and surrenders and has khushu' to the dhikr of Allah, to the Qur'an. So this aspect of khushu' happens without salah. So it is there and it's important in salah, but more important is the actual salah itself. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. Then the second last verse we'll take for today, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Allah says, and those who. So now, if we just connecting these verses, successful are the believers, those who have khushu' in salah, and those who عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ, who turn away from laghu. I'll explain that now. But there's a point I want to make. A sentence one could say is, successful are the believers, those who have khushu' in their salah, as well as turn away from this laghu that we're going to mention, as well as do the other deeds. But Allah doesn't say it like that. Every verse you're going to hear, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ, and those who. The reason for that is to show two things. Importance for every quality we're going to mention. Each quality that we're going to mention for these special people, we'll hear their reward at the end. It's a specific quality itself. And Allah is, because of the repetition of these words, Allah is saying that you do not need to have each one of these qualities to reach the Jannah that Allah is going to mention. It doesn't mean you need to have all. You're having some of them, or as what approaches you, you apply it. You apply what the ayah is saying. That's enough. And the reason for that is because of the presence of these pronouns, and who, and those who, and those who. So we said, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Those who عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. I'm going to translate it in a normal sentence. Those who turn away from laghu. Laghu means, number one definition, all types of sins. So they turn away, they avoid, they don't engage in all types of sins. And also, these people, to get their special place with Allah, they turn away from every action or saying, action with the body part, saying with the tongue, that is of no benefit. Every action or saying that is of no benefit, they turn away. So forget sin that harms, but something that is of no benefit, these people turn away from it. So we go back to the structure of the sentence. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Let's first connect it with the previous verse. It comes after khushu'. As if to say, when you are in salah and you have thoughts that come to distract you, turn away from it. So there's that connection. Another connection is throughout the surah, there's a trend of turning away. Sometimes from good, sometimes from bad. فَهُمْ عَنْ ذِكْرِ رَبِّهِمْ مُعْرِضُونَ. Allah speaks of the disbelievers, they turn away from the dhikr of Allah, from the Qur'an and the reminder of Allah. In the same way, khushu' comes in the surah throughout. Khushu', we said, connects to the heart. So it comes in the Qur'an, in the surah itself throughout. أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Do you not fear Allah? And fear is in the heart. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ هُمْ مِنْ خَشْيَةِ رَبِّهِمْ مُشْفِقُونَ. Those who bring iman, despite bringing iman, they are still fearful of their Lord. وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ مَا آتَوْا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ وَجِلَةٌ أَنَّهُمْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ رَاجِعُونَ. Those people, they spend in the path of Allah, but their hearts have wajila, their hearts have a tremor. Will our deeds actually be accepted by Allah? So that's the trend of the surah, speaking of things connected to the heart, and that's why khushu', that's how it links to khushu'. So we said, they turn away from laghu, everything that is of no benefit to them, whether it comes to something to say or something to do. So now, Allah says that the actual Arabic is that they, from laghu, they turn away. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. That they turn from laghu, they turn away. Not the way I translated it, that they turn away from laghu. The sentence is again in reverse. To indicate what? That a person can turn away from many things. Many things. Good things as well. We spoke about the ayah moments ago, that the disbelievers turned away from the reminder, the Quran. So Allah is saying these people, no, they turn away from a specific thing. And that is laghu. That is those things that have no benefit. That's what they turn away. Then Allah says, mu'ridun. Allah uses the noun again to say they turn away. So it's not something now and then they join in. No, it's a constant trait in them that when there is something of no benefit, they don't have anything to do with it. وَإِذَا مَرُّوا بِاللَّغْوِ مَرُّوا كِرَامًا. Allah speaks of the chosen slaves of Ar-Rahman, وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ, that when they pass laghu, they pass away in a respectful manner. The meaning of kirama is they turn away from it, they have nothing to do with it. The last point to take from the ayah is that Allah says they turn away from laghu. So one way you could say, لا يلغون. They don't do laghu. They don't do laghu. So that means they personally don't do it themselves. But that doesn't negate that somebody else is doing it, but they're sitting. They're part of it. They're watching. They're not engaging, but they're watching. So that means they're not doing it. But Allah is saying they turn away from it. They have nothing to do with it. That's a higher level. That's a higher level. Sometimes people do sins, or they're doing things that are futile. That is basically sometimes, some may describe it as foolish. But you watch them. You watch them do it. You have a laugh. There's no benefit. It's something maybe negative. So Allah is saying these people don't only not engage or watch, they turn away completely. They turn away completely. So that's وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. The last verse we'll take, and with that we'd have finished half the verses of our segment of Surah Muminun. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. That these people, for zakah, they are doers. These people, for zakah, they are doers. That almost makes no sense. That almost makes no sense. Yet the precision of the way this verse is phrased, it opens up multiple meanings. And yet we start off by saying it doesn't really make sense. What did he say? وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ, those who for zakah they do. The reason for that is zakah in Arabic, it has multiple meanings. It has multiple meanings. The first meaning is the aspect of taking out zakah that we all know. The money that you owe, that Allah has a right in it, 2.5% of most things that a person will own. As the certain things that you give zakah on, 2.5%, meaning not crops and animals, that's a higher percent. But that 2.5%, these people give, the one thing is to give out the zakah. Another meaning of zakah is this wealth that you give out. It's called zakah. And we ourselves may call it zakah. If you were to calculate zakah, and you were to take out money to the side, and somebody were to ask you, what's that? You may say that's my zakah. That's my zakah. So this money that you've taken out, to call it zakah. The aspect of taking out this and calculating and giving it to the poor is called zakah. Another meaning of zakah is purification. Allah says, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. Successful are those who did zakah. They purified themselves, their nafs, their evil souls. They did good deeds. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. Successful are those who purified themselves. That's also a wisdom that zakah is named zakah, because it purifies your wealth. It purifies your wealth. Another meaning of zakah that's out of this verse is to increase. And we're giving out zakah, so our wealth is getting less. But zakah means to grow. Zakah means to grow amazingly. So back to our verse here. We mentioned three meanings of zakah. And because this verse is phrased in the manner it is, it includes all three meanings. It includes all three meanings. How? وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ لِلزَّكَاةِ فَاعِلُونَ. The first meaning is that these people, they are doing the aspect of zakah, the aspect of taking out the zakah. That's number one. Number two, they are doers of giving this wealth to the poor. So that means this sentence is in reverse here. This is just slightly technical. We'll go through it quickly to get to our final point. This sentence is in reverse, and because it's in reverse, it's a bit of a weaker structure. So to strengthen the structure, the lam came to say lizzaka. Okay, that's just for technicalities of Arabic. Because the sentence is in reverse, so it was weakened. So the lam comes, so it can strengthen the word lizzaka in the sentence, and it can make sense for the two meanings we got. But our main point is the last one. Allah says lizzakati fa'ilun, that these people are doers for zakah. For zakah. What does doers mean here on this last interpretation? They are doers of good actions for zakah. On here the lam means for zakah, to purify their nafs, to purify themselves. So because Allah says fa'ilun, they are the doers. It includes the meaning of doing good deeds lizzakah, to achieve zakah, to achieve the purification of themselves. And if the verse had been, they are those who give out zakah, it has one meaning. It has one meaning. But because it's phrased like that, we managed to get three meanings of it. We managed to get three meanings out of it. So we'll end there. We'll complete the rest of the verses of Surah Muminun, 4 or 5 of them I think, tomorrow inshallah. We ask Allah Azza wa Jal to teach us that which benefits us and benefit us with that which He teaches us. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على النبي الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين.